Hello there everybody, this is Alex from Hardcorian Guides, being my guide for BioShock Infinite on 1999 mode without using any of the dollar machines. Today we're doing episode 7, level 7, what do you want to call it, Hand of the Prophet. And this is going to be the last level for the entire game. So this essentially was going to be an hour and 30-minute video, I think it was. But with my dying and my, not my, but the, story and plot stuff happening, I cut all that out, and now we're down to 40 minutes, so I would say that's pretty damn good. So most of this level is going to deal with us essentially going through tons and tons and tons of waves of enemies, and for those that know this level, if you're very familiar with it, you're probably a little bit afraid of it like I would be, and that happens to be a very particular spot at the very end of the game when you're on the ship, and you're essentially trying to guard the ship with using Songbird at the same time, and it can be a little bit intimidating, of course, especially for first-time players. And even when those first-time players get to play 1999 mode for the first time, that's still pretty scary. So I'm going to do my best to show you a strategy that I had found online. I don't exactly remember the person's name that did the video. Most likely, you can look up the same strategy I did. Just type in, Hand of the Prophet strategy or something like that, or Songbird strategy, whatever it was. And essentially, a video of his will probably come up. I can tell you for sure it was some guy, I think his name started with a C. So all credit goes to him for coming up with a strategy, or whoever came up with the strategy first. Things get passed around like... I can't even make a metaphor here. I can't even make any analogy here. I was going to say something about like a hooker, but it's kind of like, a slut being passed around at a football party. You know what I'm saying? It's just... that thing gets passed around pretty damn hard, so... things happen. Anyway, so I find this corner back here, and, I grabbed myself a crank gun, which I think I might have actually grabbed the chapter prior to this. You don't necessarily need it, but this, I think, will definitely help, especially with the Patriot. And there is a mosquito over there, so if you need to create a distraction, then you totally can, and that will totally help you out a little bit. And, of course, as you know already, mosquitoes do respawn, so if you ever need to have another mosquito on standby, then by all means, go for it. So the abilities I'm going to be using a lot here is going to be Return to Sender and Bucking Bronco. So for now, mostly Return to Sender for now, because Return to Sender is just so goddamn good, it's just ridiculous. So here I pop up a nice little piece of cover, because at least this one won't disappear for me, so that kind of helps. Granted, cover doesn't necessarily disappear regardless, unless it's a tear cover, and then you can just, flip it to something else. But on the other hand, normal cover like the one I'm hiding behind now, essentially, or just any parts of the building will technically be considered cover. This was something I discovered while I was doing this. I mean, I've seen this stuff before. I've played this game. I pretty much know where almost every tear is located, but, sometimes I tend to forget things, so I forgot that there was actually a rocket turret right there that I could have used. So there you can have that to your benefit. That is, if you're going to be doing a push strategy where you're just going to be pushing up like I am here, then having the rocket turret definitely is great, especially against the motorized Patriot, and taking them out. So, and the mosquito is also great for pushing too. And what I recommend here is just doing the push strategy that I'm doing right now, where essentially you're moving from cover to cover, and you're just using whatever weapons and resources you have available at the time to essentially just keep pushing up and destroying specific enemies that need to be destroyed. I.e., of course, Patriots, which I think this might be the last of them, hopefully. And luckily, the last one dropped the crank gun, which they typically 100% drop, so it's... actually, I don't know if that's 100% or not, because I could have sworn that there's one time where one of them didn't drop for some reason. Which I think is kind of dumb, but if that's the case, yeah, that's pretty stupid. They typically drop it, I'll say that, save my ass the trouble. So they typically drop crank gun, so. Which definitely is a tenderizer against Patriots. I feel like it is. I feel like it's one of the best weapons you can have because the rate of fire is so damn ridiculous that it just melts these guys away. You know, you can probably melt a guy with a whole clip, which 100 bullets in a clip sounds like a lot, and really it is. But I feel like those bullets are wasted if you use it against something that's not mechanical, something that is like just a typical human, you know. Because those guys you can just take out with a couple melee hits and they're gone, so they're really nothing. One sec, guys. I need to apparently clear my throat. Sorry about that, folks. I had a little bit of phlegm in my throat, so I had to get rid of that. It might happen most of this video, so I'm probably going to end up muting most of this video. You're going to hear like a little bit of a boop sound every once in a while. Once you hear that, that's, you know, that I muted my mic. So, over here, I whip out Bucking Bronco because these guys are on the airship, and of course, being anywhere near air is always a good thing for me to have. Or, I should say, anything that remotely is close to a ledge. That way I can just knock these guys straight off their little high horse and, you know, send them flying down back to Earth, pretty much. Or basically flying straight off Columbia. Can you imagine actually, like, living here, though? Wouldn't that be one of the scariest things? Like, one day, all of a sudden, one of your blimps gets shocked by lightning or something. You know, or you endure turbulence. Because, like, that would probably end up being what an earthquake is for these people. It just, I think this is just, this spells disaster. And in my opinion, I think, like, an underwater city was probably more efficient than, an, you know, above ground city. As in, like, a floating city in the sky, but, you know, hey, it's a video game, who cares, logic, they have quantum physics, so they figure things out, right? That's essentially what this game's story works around, is like quantum physics and all that, which I don't know a whole lot about, anyway. So, don't ask me, I just know enough that, hey, it keeps their shit flying, and somehow they can create terrors and shit, so there's that. I guess apparently there was still an enemy left. That's why the door wasn't opening, because Elizabeth's a fucking coward, and I hate that. Oh, it gets so goddamn annoying. She can literally run around the field, look for anything else, but the moment she decides to, you know, pick a lock, she can't do it in combat. And why is that? I don't know. It's one of those things that really just bugs me. Because if the enemies are not shooting at her, then why bother? You know, it's just... It's odd to me. It really is. Like, why do you have some things that are not covered when it comes to, you know, combat situations for Elizabeth? Is she so distracted with, you know, grabbing me supplies that she can't open a goddamn door? It's just it's a small nitpick, I know, but it's just one of those things. It's one of those things, folks. Just one of those things. I stop repeating myself. It's just shitty commentary there. So there's lockpicks over here, some health stuff over here, a bunch of supplies in this room, so this is definitely worth to break into, pretty much. Especially after the infight. This one, I don't think, will actually be the last of our lockpick rooms. Because essentially, we ended up getting a lockpick anyway, so, you know, why not? Also, for those that want to call me out and say, you know, hey, you're a fucking faggot, because... you know, you're missing 2 videos. Well, the reason why is because A, the lighthouse, there's nothing that happens there. So if you can't get past the lighthouse, you know, part 1 of the game, level 1, then I have, well, you're just fucked. You know, if you can't get past it, you're done, man. Your run's over. And if you got all the way through this game, and then you're wondering, like, where the hell is episode, you know, 18? I mean, you know, you go back to the lighthouse again, and you do all that stuff. That should count as a level 2. No. No, it doesn't. Sorry. Not for my guide, it doesn't. So for those that want to complain, which I'm sure there probably won't be, but hey, if ever in, like, you know, 20 years from now, somebody watches this video and decides to complain, I didn't do it because there's no reason to. Why do you need help with running? There's no reason. If you actually absolutely needed help with a walkthrough, then go look at go look at a walkthrough or something. How'd I do it? Even then, like, how hard is it to get past that? Elizabeth, you know, leads you for most of it. So, you know, it's not that difficult. It really isn't. But anyway, back on track here. So what's some pretty good supplies to keep with you? Volley gun really ain't that great. I don't think so. Not especially for these kind of close quarter combat situations. If you can get your hands on a shotgun, go for it. Or at least a machine gun. Rocket launcher? Nah. Volley gun? Nah. I don't want to use it because it's like the last thing I have left and I don't want to have to waste ammo. So essentially, one great thing to utilize is Bucking Bronco. That way, you can knock these assholes off. Of course, if you're fighting against God damn. If you're fighting against RPG enemies, then one good thing to use is Possession. That way they can just blow up their own crowd instead. Also, Skyline Strikes are really kind of nice here. They can be pretty helpful, depending on the enemy you're using. I mean, going back and forth between Skylines is a little bit more dangerous. So, if you're going to do a Skyline Strike, just, you know, get the one good shot on somebody and then just mow the rest of them down, essentially. That's what I say. Or at least have, you know, Send for Less or Return to Sender. Fuck, I can never get that right. Either have Return to Sender up or something. That way you know for sure that you are safe while you do it. So, that's essentially my key tips, components, and strategies for this. And this is going to be definitely a long one. One sec, guys. It's still coming out. God damn. Sorry, I do apologize for having, you know, not cleared my throat before I did this. I didn't know I had to. Well, anyway, back on track here. So, essentially, the Boxer are going to start attacking us now. And, of course, like I mentioned earlier, Bucking Bronco is definitely your friend here. And it definitely serves you some great use. Try to keep the health pack and the salts on your ship for as long as you can. Same thing goes for the weapons. Like, if you happen to need a weapon, just bring it back here and drop it off or something. Or, you know, need a weapon for later or whatever. Just come back here and drop it off. Carbine's great. Shotgun's great. Machine gun is great. Repeater is good enough. Essentially, any weapon's great if you know how to use it particularly well. But that's really up to you. Right there, of course, I got knocked off to shit. This was me being kind of dumb. I could have switched to Return to Sender and kind of protect my ass from these guys, but I decided to go for the health pack instead. So we're getting close to the end of this fight anyway, and I figured, you know, why not? That's the thing. After I think like the second wave of mosquitoes here, we're at least close to done. It looks like we might actually be done. So that's a good sign that we could be. I don't remember how many ships are war, but there's at least 5 or 6. Maybe a little bit less than that. It's hard to say. I can't remember. But anyway, we're done with that, I believe. And now we're basically heading toward the first big area of the game. The first hump, I should say. Because even though, you know, the airship part is hard at times, it can be a little bit intimidating. It's not necessarily the hardest part of this. I think dealing with shit on the Zeppelin is probably harder than dealing with stuff on the airship. But granted, you know, because, well, the airship, you can just knock guys off. But then again, actually, you have no tears either, so that sucks. Yeah, because on the Zeppelin, you do have tears that you can use, which is definitely nice. What I suggest doing is pick a route, go for it, and just keep going. And I will try my best to show off any locations that have supplies that I can find. So, bear with me, folks. I probably don't end up finding everything that you can find here, but I find at least a decent chunk of stuff. So, that's better than nothing, I'd say. Over here, we have a turret. I think there's actually a turret on both sides, so just keep that in mind. And both sides have a specific tear that you can use. This side, I think, uses a mosquito, and the other side uses a rocket automaton, so automaton, or whatever you want to call it. Basically a rocket turret, I should say that. And that can be really nifty. And my thing is, the carbine shotgun combo is great here, only because we are in close quarter combat almost all the time. So, having a shotgun as a heavy reliant is probably something I would recommend. Well, that is something I recommend. It's really good to have. And of course, Return to Sender, being at least in your equipped spot, is always nice too. So, utilize that to your advantage here, and that would probably save your ass a lot of trouble. Again, just like with any other BioShock, if you have a particular, if you know specific, you know, weapons and powers that can essentially make your life 10 times easier, why not use it? You know what I mean? There's no reason to make this mode any harder for yourself unless you're doing a specific challenge run that I'm not doing. All I'm really doing is no dollar machine, which is rather funny how easy it is, actually. And honestly, I haven't actually done a run with dollar machine since the first time I played it. So, yeah, I know. And that's just something. I think when I first did 1999 mode, I played with dollar machines. That way, I can at least get used to how the game worked. But I'm going to be straight honest with you folks. Having a dollar machine or not, there's honestly barely any benefit to not having it on, really. I mean, there's barely any benefit to having it on regardless. You know, most of the supplies you need, you pick up here. Like, there's a few fights I would definitely say that really benefit from having dollar machines. You know, like handyman fights, for example, where they just get so drastically difficult to get through sometimes. You know, having that extra bit of supplies that you can just pick up is great, but, you know, mostly throughout most of the game, and I think the developers knew this too, like, you can get through without it. There's plenty of supplies throughout the game, and there's plenty of ways of beating these guys down, so, you know, why waste your money on buying supplies when you essentially probably just have, you know, Elizabeth find it for you. I'm sort of wonder if my video's starting to glitch out. It looks scary. I don't know if it's a video or if it was actually the video from the recording. Now, regardless. But I'm sure by now you guys probably know what I'm doing here. I'm just going in a straight path. Just basically just doing my pushing technique where I just go from one spot to another and just keep pushing. What I'm doing right here was completely idiotic. But it's something you totally can do. Granted, you just go guns blazing anywhere on the field that you wanted to. Luckily in this room, there is glass separating me and the turret, so I had plenty of cover to take him out. Thankfully for that. One thing I can say I recommend doing is, instead of picking one route and just going straight down it and then looping around, maybe try going down a path, go down like halfway through it, take out any turrets, and then go to the other path and take out the turrets there too. That way, when you are going to take them out, or when you're getting to the end of the ship and, you know, you want to take them out, they won't have to be there, so that could definitely benefit you a little bit. Granted, turrets are not that hard to kill anyway, but I'm just saying that if that was something you were afraid of, then definitely just, you know, keep pushing to a specific point, run back, go the other way, and there you go. I don't remember if this level actually lets you cut through the areas or not. I know there's some that you can, but I don't know if it's this exact floor or not. And I think there's like, oh god, like 4 of these frickin' floors or something. Because we got this one right now. Then we go up one more, I know for sure, definitely. And then one more after that, I guarantee we do. And then there's, of course, the main part of the ship when we're going to essentially get to the very end of the game. I know I keep calling it a ship, but you know me, I don't even bother with it, really. I don't care enough. Sorry guys, I'm really tired. It's like 11 o'clock at night right now. I'm doing this video, so I apologize in advance for me yawning. Alright, here we go. Level 2. This is going to be a little bit more hectic and a little bit more difficult than the last one was. When I dropped down here, I instantly whipped out the turret, which definitely will help me out a lot. Staying up here, I think, is a pretty good spot, because this way you have cover from the ground floor up. Nobody can really attack you from above you, only from below, so that way you at least have somewhat of a vantage point here. Don't really do what I'm doing here, because the only reason I'm doing this is because I got lucky enough to actually have food drop. So, you can technically manipulate it in a way, as in, like, if you're running out of health or something like that, and if you kill somebody, you'll get health back if you have the gear I have on. But most of the time, you can essentially just kind of cheap out the game and make it to where they'll just spawn health there before you just grab it, get shoulder life, and there you go. So this part of the game, this part of the level, actually I should say, sucks, because now you have to basically wait for this thing to essentially get done doing its deal. I grabbed the hand cannon because that thing's really damn powerful, and I think these guys come from maybe both ends of the ship here. So find a spot. I'd say stand up here, like I said. Just stand up here and pick them off one by one. That's what I suggest. Looking from one specific way and just moving from cover to cover, really. That's all I can really give you guys. There's no great advice when it comes to Infinite, you know, until like specific moments of the game. And that's it. Like most of these firefights, you don't really need my help with, really. You can just do almost all this stuff on your own, I'm sure. You know, you made it this far in the game. I don't see why you couldn't be able to, but hey. Some people are different, so, you know, it's whatever. Of course, don't forget you have Bucking Bronco that you can probably use if you grabbed it at least. Don't try to forget that you have Bucking Bronco. You can probably use it to your advantage to knock these guys off. Save yourself the trouble and just not have to worry about them. Of course, having tears around the field is also nice to have too. That way they let these turret guys just pick off most of them. You know, distract them at least. Unfortunately, it looks like there might be some glass between them, but hey, that's okay. If we can distract the motorized Patriot long enough, we can at least take him out. Yeah, I'm trying to think that this video is fucking glitchy. I don't really care right now, honestly. It don't bother me much. As long as the video's fine and hopefully no desyncs, then I think we'll be fine. I just had this stupid thought in my head, like, man, it's gonna suck when I have to do commentary for this video. I'm not doing it right now. That's how tired I am, folks. That's how tired I am right now. I need to go to bed. I really do. I know it's only like 11, but I'm so freaking tired all the time. Oh, jeez, god damn. So, yeah. Anyway, of course, return to sender. Shield attack ability, great against motorized Patriots. Shotgun's also great against them. You guys should probably notice by now. I've said it like a million times, but for those that haven't watched these previous videos, then yeah. Shotguns are great against motorized Patriots. They're freaking amazing. Now, the main course of this video, and I'm pretty sure a lot of people have been waiting to see it, is coming up relatively soon-ish, I think, hopefully. So, yeah, the main course of the entire game is coming up pretty soon. I'm pretty sure most people are probably like, you know, that wanted me to do BioShock Infinite were probably like, man, I can't wait till he does this. Now I can see how he does that last little part. Figure that out. And then they watch this video and they're like, oh, he stole it from somebody else? Oh, wow, of course. That's how I do it, guys, you know. It's like with speedruns. You're not going to get better at a speedrun unless you probably use somebody else's tactic in doing it. You know, one person finds out a good strategy, you use that, and then you come up with something of your own, and they use yours, and vice versa. Or maybe you don't use their strategy, and you find one that's better than theirs. Hey, there you go. I'm one of those guys that just can't really, you know, find better strategies necessarily. I'm only good at like just receiving, or you know, receiving them and just reciprocating them pretty much for my own gain of viz. That's about it. I don't know. I just like having my own little spin on guides. That's really what it's all about, really, guys. That's what it's really about at the end of the day. And of course, you know, if I ever do reciprocate any strategy whatsoever, then I typically just try to give credit the best I can. And of course, as you know, there's some particular YouTubers I watch that I definitely know for a fact I got my strategies from them. And there's other YouTubers I have no clue what their damn names were. Yeah, this is getting out of hand. I'm getting tired of shit. Is it just me, or like every time you see like Elizabeth's back of her head, just want to smack the shit out of it? I don't know. Just looking at her just pisses me off. Ugh. Yeah, I'm starting to wonder if maybe Elgato was fucking up at this point. That scares me. I mean, the video still rendered just fine. Or I mean, it seemed to have processed just fine. So I don't know what the problem was. But granted, that day I was just going, you know, haywire. I was just recording stuff out the ass, you know? Just constantly recording until I got this game done. And I'm glad I did. And hey, we finally made it, folks, to the last episode. So Good damn job. I actually uploaded episode 16 tonight, and tomorrow, hopefully, I'll actually have this episode uploaded. And by tomorrow, I should say Sunday. And what's sad is this weekend basically flew by like nothing. But then again, I now have 2 weeks off, so starting after Sunday, my 2 weeks off finally begins, and it's going to be great. I'm going to get as much shit as I possibly can done. And by shit done, I mean videos on both channels, and I also mean games that I have played and that I need to go back and play the hell out of. Or at least start, because so many games I haven't even opened yet. Alright, here we go. I think that might have been the Comstock part. No, I don't think so. Oh, well. Well, I guess that might be the end of the main floors. I guess there's only 2 of them. Then we got this, like, factory-looking section here, so... This part, that reminds me of Resistance 3, a little too much. I don't remember what level it was, but it definitely has that look to it, and I swear to God it does. This place... Ugh. Oh, boy. So, you have a skyline here, which is going to help you, but you're going to have a handyman to fight, I believe. Or a patriot, or whatever the fuck it was. I think there was something... Yeah, there he is, handyman right there. Granted, you have tears, you know, like turrets and what have you, that definitely help you, but floor 3, or level 3, what do you want to call it, was going to suck donkey balls big time. But luckily, there's only, I guess, 4 levels, maybe, should be. So it shouldn't be bad. Now, also, what makes this fight much easier is the fact that I have returned to Sender. This thing is way too goddamn broken for this game. And man, do I love the shit out of it. So essentially, this basically makes Handyman just a bitch. They're nothing now. Even his melee attacks can't hurt me because I'm using this. This strategy right here is, in my opinion, all for naught. Probably one of the best strategies I can think of doing against this guy is just standing here, return to Sender, blow his ass out, he's dead. Get some of your salts back, get some of your health back if you need it. You know, there's plenty of salts here, and just move on. That's it. So he really was nothing, practically. It still sucks that you have to fight one, though. That's the annoying thing. Like, he just wastes so many goddamn bullets. I hate Handyman no matter what. Even if I can cheap his ass out, it doesn't matter. I still hate these fucking things. They're cool, you know, like in a normal game, but when you have to fight him on this difficulty, it's like, oh, man. That's not something I want to do ever again. But luckily, guess what? I don't have to, so great. Yay. Because I think I might have actually finished BioShock Infinite on PS4 as well. I'll have to check on that, actually. Not really 100% sure. So the rest of this area is relatively easy. You're just picking off guys at this point. Like, you already took down the big bitch. So now making, you know, the big, you know, Bubba J in here, you know, making him your bitch essentially scares off everybody else. So now they're going to be your bitch. It's like prison rules here. You know, you take out the biggest guy, and now you're the biggest guy, so... Or make friends with him. Or make friends with him like you did in Deadpool 2, right? God, you know... I'm going to be honest, like, the Deadpool movies are good in their own merit. You know, they're funny and what have you in their own ways, and they got some cool stuff. But, God, dude, I wish Deadpool would just fucking die off already. You know, it sucks, because I didn't know enough about Deadpool before he became popular. I only knew about him when he got a game, you know, and a little bit here and there in, like, MVC3, and that was it. Like, I knew he existed, but I didn't really know much about him until, like, the Deadpool game came out and, like, the Deadpool movie, and then, you know, I started looking back at the comics and stuff, and, you know, understanding, like, what he can do. But, god damn, people are just fucking irritating. You know, like, there was Deadpool merchandise, and there were people that were, you know, cosplaying Deadpool for god who knows how long. And I feel sorry for them, because now you got all these fucking fairies running around cosplaying as Deadpool that don't even know who the fuck he is. And I can't say that, you know, but I'm just... I don't know, it's like a secondhand embarrassment. I feel so bad for them. Alright guys, here we go. Here's the beginning. Okay, so let me just go ahead and run this down with you real fast. I instantly spawn in, and the first thing that I decided to do was destroy that airship on the far end of the ship here. And I'm being a complete moron and not doing things right. I'm doing things out of order. So if you want a better strategy for this, go look it up, because this is the one I'm giving you here. Maybe. Hopefully I actually didn't fuck this up. I don't know. I don't think so. Here we go. So, what you're going to do is you're going to charge up return to sender. And I'd say place at least 3 to 4 different little charged up balls in front of the generator. The reason being is because it gives it more cover. Grab a sniper rifle and come back over here. Ride the rail up to the very top. Come to this very corner on this very end of the ship right here and pick these guys off that I'm picking off. Just get a nice good headshot. Don't worry about Songbird unless I call him in, then maybe. Okay, so I call his ass in. Alright. So essentially try to imitate what I'm doing here. It's hard to explain exactly what I'm doing and in what order, but I can tell you that if you attack a ship like a Zeppelin or a box ship or whatever, airship, it's going to take longer for the thing to recharge, or Songbird to recharge, than it was to attack a ground-based amount of enemies. And one thing to keep note of, whenever the motorized Patriots start coming out, there's only a small amount of them. I think there's like 3 waves of them, of 2, and then eventually you have some time to send out Songbird and destroy that ship before they spawn in more of those assholes, so that's something to keep in mind as well. I'll get to that when we get to that. So for right now, just simply, you know, pick off guys that are coming toward your way. Use Songbird to destroy that first ship that spawned in with the Gatling gun. It had the health on it. Destroy the turret, the one with the turret. Get rid of that thing completely and wait for Songbird to respawn. Okay, so the airships are gone, and whenever you see any RPG guys on both sides here, don't use 2 like I did, like a complete idiot. Make sure you possess one of them and let him kill himself. After the first one kills himself and kills him off some of the enemies, then, you know, well, just like that, then just possess the other one and get rid of both RPGs. There's one on each side, so make sure you get rid of both, because they're going to be a huge pain in your ass. And I guarantee it, they're going to be a huge pain in your dick. Okay, what's next here? So, looks like we got some enemies spawning. And I'm going to send out Songbird down there. Looks like they might be Patriots, I think. I couldn't tell. Patriots are coming. Okay, so that was one group of Patriots. Now I'm waiting for Songbird to spawn in once again. And what I'm doing here is I'm just picking off the small guys because they're the easiest to pick off. You can destroy the turrets on the ships. I don't recommend destroying the ones on here, on the small ships though, but you can if you want, like I do. I did it because it was getting annoying, and I was like, I'll just take it out, you know. It gives me something to do while I wait for Songbird. But granted, I am wasting ammo, so that's not good too. Also, try your best to figure out the exact position of where you need to send Songbird, because it's very, very weird in where Songbird attacks. You have to be very specific with your attack so for it to work, and it's really annoying. So it looks like after, what was that, like, what, the 3rd wave already? 3rd or 4th fucking wave coming, I think. I'll eventually send down Songbird on the first Zeppelin, and I believe there's only 2. I hope there's 2. This shit gets real annoying. Really does. There's also med kits in the back, so if you need that, grab that. Also, if there's still a Patriot alive, just start shooting him right in the gears with the sniper rifle. And remember, if you have return to senders still up in front of the generator, this will save you so much trouble, it's not even funny. Like, these guys are doing damage sometimes, but they're not doing enough damage. Possession is also kind of nice too, especially for the Patriots, so they can at least do some damage to the enemies. But it's still never enough for them to actually do anything, and plus they can't kill themselves, so that sucks too. But hey, you know, do what you can. Wait for Songbird to come back, and that's essentially what I'm doing right now. Is I'm pretty much just wasting time, wasting these guys, letting them kill each other off, and waiting for Songbird to come back and just wipe them out, and then wipe out the Zeppelin. This is a very strict strategy, though. Very, very strict. And like I said, I know this sounds bad, but if I were you, I would highly recommend, for those that are having, you know, way harder trouble than I am right now, or I was, then I would, or having trouble watch me, because I suck at explaining anything, then I would highly recommend you watch somebody else with much better commentary than I do. Essentially, I'd say just type in, like, you know, Hand of the Prophet strategy or something like that, and it should come up. If you find a guy, you know, running on rails with a sniper rifle, that's probably the guy I watched too, so. It definitely came in handy. Shit did. Alright, so now, turret enemies are going to spawn behind you. Snipe them out. I think I take out one of the ships, because I said fuck it. Shoot down one of the turrets and take out one of the ships with Songbird. And just bear with me on this. Just have faith in me. You should be fine enough to do that. Even though, you know, these guys are starting to spawn, they really can't do much damage to the ship entirely. So, again, with, you know, Return to Sender basically blocking off most of the damage, that really does help out a shit ton. And what I did here was, like I was saying earlier, possession definitely helps a lot. It basically just kind of gives you more time to prep, I would say. You know, because now they're distracted with that enemy instead of just you. So, I think that helps out a lot. And here I'm just fucking up entirely. This is my bad. I hit the wrong Songbird spot, so, you know, recoup, figure out what you need to do, and just keep going. If you're getting shot up by rockets here, you can destroy them. Like I said, I really wouldn't recommend it, but I might actually end up destroying them myself. I'm not really sure. Because they're really not hitting me, which is great. But yeah, you can also see right here, I'm basically waiting for them to respawn again and just waste these guys. Essentially just waiting for them to completely disappear after like 3 waves or so. Yeah, I guess I get tired of this guy's bullshit. I say, fuck this, I'm taking them out. There's also there's RPGs down there, which I think RPGs probably would be more helpful with taking out, you know, these turret things here, so. That's one thing I definitely recommend. The sniper rifle is great, but, you know, having a sniper rifle is also great to use on enemies. And this is why I warned you guys during my essential, like, in earlier videos, why upgrading a sniper rifle is very helpful is because at least you'll have it at the end game and you can just destroy these guys with basically little to no prejudice, so it's really nice to have it. I'd recommend having a sniper build on hand, as in, like, having the sniper fully upgraded. At least close to the end game, that way you could just do some damage. But if you're like me, throughout this playthrough, and just didn't do that, you still won't suffer because of it. A nice, clean sniper headshot straight to the, you know, face is really great. It really definitely helps. So right now what I'm doing is essentially just clean up duty. I'm just taking out these guys because there's really not much left to do. There's a flat cannon there, and I'll deal with him in just a second. So once we take him out, then we're pretty much just good. Granted, I recommend using possession. Just, you know, don't waste time like I'm doing. But then again, this is me for you. I'm just wasting bullets on things I don't need to waste bullets on. And of course, I get tired of bullshit, so I just say, fuck it. I'm possessing his ass. Let him kill himself. Because essentially, they will kill themselves, and it's great. It helps out so damn much. Okay, let's see. Are we not even done? Or is there one more ship to go? Because I thought I destroyed both, but I guess according to the game, I probably didn't. Unless there's 3, I'm not really sure myself. Yeah, I'm just over here waiting for Songbird to pop up. Drop him down. Again, if you don't feel safe, drop another Return to Sender down there. Charge it up, drop another one. Which I might end up actually doing in this video. I don't remember. That way, you know, you have a little bit more protection. I think you can have up to 4, maybe. It's hard to say. Charge up a good little ball like that. Grab some salts, and really, it should be fine. Because like I said before, that is a, you know, that's a godsend right there, Return to Sender. That thing saves your ass so much trouble with this fight. It's ridiculous. And after we clean up all the motorized patriots, wait for Songbird to once again respawn, and then wipe out the last of the Zeppelins. Don't worry about the Vox ships or anything. They won't do shit to you, really. They're just a waste of time, honestly. Am I going to send down another one? God damn, how long does this take? Alright, well, alright. I mean, I keep them... I'm just stalling for time at this point. I'm basically just making sure that I'm definitely 100% safe. So, it's always a good way to do so. Now, from what I've heard, I don't know if this is correct or not. I haven't really tested this theory out, but I heard if you keep one enemy alive, then they probably won't spawn in motorized patriots, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. But anyway, folks, that is it. That should be the end of everything that is BioShock Infinite until I take out this last few guys, which is coming up relatively real quick. That guy decided to go ahead and break the laws of physics on my ass and try to make my run ruined, which I said to him, fuck you. You can't do that, bitch. And that, I think, folks, that has to be the end of it, isn't it? It must be, because there's nothing else. Once the thing comes up, the mission comes up, we're done, and we are finished. Ladies and gentlemen, we are finished with BioShock Infinite. The rest from here on out is up to you to finish. It's not that hard. It'll take you more, it'll probably take like another 10 minutes maybe, just to get to the next section. But there's no fighting, there's no combat. Everything from here on out is smooth sailing. So for those that have watched this long, well, thank you for your patience and thank you for your kindness. And I really did appreciate the fact that, you know, you guys hopefully enjoyed this guide as much as I could provide for you. It's not the best guide out there, but it definitely was. It definitely was a guide worth doing, I think. Granted, you know, this stuff's been done to death before, I'm sure, but here I am, essentially here to do it. So, here to do it once again. I'm basically doing something that literally I'm sure everybody else has probably done already. But, anyway, we finally made it, folks. The one thing I thought I couldn't do was beat BioShock Infinite 999 mode with no dollar machines. I didn't think I could beat it again. Every time I go back through it, it gets easier and easier. I mean, really, if you know the specific strategies for like Comstock and Hand of the Prophet, then you're set. This game is only hard to me when it comes to those specific missions. And if people have to make videos about how to fight those bosses, particularly, more than likely those bosses are probably difficult anyway. So, again, like I said, hopefully you guys at least enjoyed something of this, whether either I, you know, entertained you to an extent, or I helped you, which I hope I did. I mean, these are guides, but I also do these guides for fun too, so that way, you know, when people watch them, they're like, man, this guy's pretty good at doing, you know, games on hard. This is pretty fun to watch. Just something interesting. It's like whenever I watch Godfather Dictator sometimes, you know, he'll play frickin' DMC4, you know, on Legendary Dark Night mode without taking any hits. And it's like, fucking Christ. This is fun to watch. You know, sometimes just watching hard stuff is fun. And even though this does say guide, it's still something I do for fun, you know. Even though I should be more professional about it, but that's okay. There's plenty of guys out here, so if you're looking for absolute professionalism, this is definitely not the place. So for those that are new to my channel, then you might want to leave now, unless you want to hear my final thoughts on the game overall, and if I thought it was really that hard or not. So this is your time to leave now, if you want to. I guess I'll just go ahead and drop real fast what I'm doing next, for those that are curious. I'm planning on doing Luigi's Mansion next. We're going to do the Hidden Mansion run-through. A rank. I'm going to shoot for A rank. If I can't get A rank, I'm going to start the whole fucking thing over again until I get it. So, bear with me on that. Some people are probably going to say, like, what's the point of having a guide for Luigi's Mansion A rank, you know, Hidden Mansion run? Well, some people don't know where all the blue ghosts are, or, you know, all the boos and stuff. So, I'll get all the boos, and I'll try to get all I'll try to get enough money to essentially get an A rank. So that's the plan for next time. So for you guys that want to leave, go ahead and leave. For the rest of you, let's do this. What did I think about Infinite in terms of 1999 mode with no dollar machine? Again, like I said before, having the no dollar machine doesn't really hinder the playthrough that much. It hurts a little bit in some spots, but if you know specific strategies or just are good with handymen or, specific fights that are deadly as shit, then you're pretty much fine. You don't really need all that supplies, because like I said, Elizabeth keeps you supplied relatively well in this game. I do have my common complaints, my nitpicks, but that's just me, though. That's just how I see Infinite anyway, so yeah, that's just that. On a scale of 1 to 10, in terms of difficulty, what would I give this game overall? Going off, this is like, what, my third time beating this? I would say at least a 7 out of 10 in terms of difficulty. Now, hear me out. Just hear me out. I say that because if you're a first-time, 1999 mode runner and you're doing no dollar machines, this thing can be really, really, really goddamn tough. And like I said with the last fight, that strategy I did is super fucking strict to the point where you almost need to do every single thing that strategy requires you to do in that order. You might be looking at it like, oh, you have plenty of time to do this, or you have leniency to it, There's some leniency here and there, and, I guess there probably is, but still, like, when a specific thing spawns, you need to be on point to kill that. And then when it comes to the Comstock fights, you can relatively make the first fight super freaking easy just by having Return to Sender fully upgraded. Having that thing just fully upgraded just saves you the trouble throughout most of the game, really. And then you have Fight 2, which I think is even more ridiculous. That one's hard as crap. And then the third fight, which is just even more ridiculous. So, really what makes this game so hard is those two particular spots. And Handyman. You got Comstock fights, all three of them, and then you have the Hand of the Prophet fight, the last fight, and then you have just Handyman in general before you get Return to Sender, which they just destroy me, I'm sure there's probably strategies out there that are way better than mine. I wouldn't doubt it. And I'm sure there's strategies out there for like beating Handyman way better than I did. But we got through them. I got through them. Hopefully you did too with me. And yeah, so like I said, in terms of difficulty, I might be too generous to it. I'd say 7, maybe 6 or 7 out of 10. That's usually an average score of what I give anyway for every game. But then again, every game I play is not that hard when you know what you're doing. But then again, when you know what you're doing, of course it's not that hard. But hey, that's a way of life. You guys have your own particular rating system for how hard these games are. Everybody's different. Someone's going to have trouble with another part that I might think is just completely easy. And then I might have trouble with something that they thought was just ridiculously easy. I'm just overthinking everything. That can happen. So, anyway, the schedule for now is Luigi's Mansion, Hidden Mansion, A rank guide. And after that, I don't know if I want to do another guide or let David do Pikmin 3. It's hard to say, because he's been talking about doing it again. So we might see David do Pikmin 3 sometime in the near future. And he'll be finishing up that. He's not going to do Hey Pikmin. I don't think he's going to at all. So I wouldn't ask about that much. If it has something interesting to it, and maybe if he actually likes it, if he wants to do it in the future, he could, but it's on 3DS, and we don't exactly have capture cards for that kind of stuff just yet. We don't. People do, but we don't have that stuff, so. Yep. Look forward to Luigi's Mansion, Hidden Mansion, A-Rank Guide. And if you're interested, if you go to my channel page, you can find both mine and David's channel, which David's channel is Tay Chrono. And mine, of course, is Turd Monkey. So if you go to my main channel, I am currently, right now, I should be at this point in time doing DMC4 Special Edition, a Let's Play of that, and we're also doing, my brother's doing a DMC1 playthrough as well. So we're knocking out 2 DMCs at the same time. And as of my life right now, I'm actually currently trying to play through DMC4 on Dante Must Die mode and beat it. So there's that. I would like to beat the first one on Dante Must Die, so you might not see any Devil May Cries for a while. The only one I could probably assure that you would see would more than likely be the reboot, because that one doesn't really fall in line with any of the other ones, so I can just do that one completely out of order and just be like, here you go. You know, we'll do Dante Must Die for both Dante and Virgil, and then we'll do Gods Must Die, and all those different guides, and you know, what have you. So that's something I'd be interested in. But anyway, for those that wanted to see Infinite be finished, it's finished. And as of right now, we are completely done and totally done with the BioShock series for good. That's right. Granted, I can play remastered versions, but what's really gonna matter? It ain't gonna matter much. Essentially, it's just me playing through the game again. So, there's that. But hey, it could happen. Well, anyway, folks, without further ado, hope you guys enjoyed, and I will see you in my next guide. So, as always, take care, everybody.